Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this session today. Really glad you are here. And without further ado, let's start. Maybe a little introduction. I'm Cihangir Kocak, working for HP, responsible for the AI business. And today I'm going to present together with Nina the business side of things. And Nina is going to deep dive into the technical part, the computer vision, how they approach projects, what they have done, how you could do it. There's also an interactive part, which Nina will do. So today I will keep it short. I had yesterday keynote. I will talk a little bit about that as well, but in a different way. So if you have seen my keynote, you don't get exactly the same information. Due to the time, I understood that Nina is going to need more time for the interactive session, so I had also something interactive. I will skip that one. But if you will be interested in knowing, how your business is standing, on the field of AI, you can always reach out to me and we can look to it. So, who has here a technical background? All right, so mostly business backgrounds. Technical, all right. And who thinks that AI will not impact their business? Never experienced that. No one raises hands in this one. Cool. And who of you use Gen AI tools? Right, a lot of people, really nice. So the people who didn't raise their hands, next time please do, because to understand Gen AI, you need to play around with it, and it will not hurt you to play around with it. But it will hurt you if you don't, because people who do, who enhance their work and their capabilities with AI, will take, a leap on you. Because, I, for example, will never write a cover letter anymore. It's just boring to write a cover letter. AI can do that for me. It's not important. So, not the important task. You can just, outsource. And maybe you wanted to be always a YouTuber, but you're camera shy. So now you can, develop an avatar, and you can make it speak like a real person, and it's getting better and better. So you can start, a different business which you would have never thought of doing. And there are many examples of this, obviously. I just named just two simple ones. But we need AI, and because the world is also one big data problem. In every industry, there is data, and wherever there is data, there will be AI. So, if you think that the information within that is not useful, or don't do anything with that, there will be always someone or a company already utilizing this information, creating new solutions which resonate with the new ones of customers. So I would say don't stay behind. You have to look to your business model and improve them. And you have to, if you look to the pace, how fast everything is developing since we have Gen AI like ChatGPT, it's incredible. So I will give you in a bit an example and tell you a little bit more about it. But do you have time to wait? And in my opinion, you don't, because it's going really fast. And you can be in an industry that maybe is not really experiencing this fastness of AI development. But I can guarantee you, even in those industries, there is someone implementing AI, which will, make a distance between you and your company, and you will be left behind. So even if your industry is moving slowly in AI development, I haven't seen any industry that is AI-free at the moment. So just keep that in your mind. This is an example of an insurance company, and they started using Gen AI. So I just saw it on LinkedIn. I thought it was interesting to show you what they already have achieved. So, I have no screen here. So what they already have achieved is that 89% of the policies are written by AI. Saving a lot of man hours, a lot of complications. And what I know about this company, when someone puts in a claim, it's handled in 2 seconds. I haven't seen a human doing that in 2 seconds. And if it's too complicated, it can always be forwarded to a human. But they're gaining so much efficiency. It's like, on cost, on speed, it's incredible. And you have to look like, how to build your AI capabilities. And I hear many times, yeah, we want to do AI. My question is always, why do you want to do AI? For what? And they want to do AI for the sake of AI because everyone is doing it. But it's not an AI project. It's a business project. So look into your organizations, to your processes, where the struggles are what you could optimize, and try to solve that, impact the bottom line of your company. Look, when you look to your data, for example, you will see like, maybe you can do 5 different projects. But a lot of companies want to do directly a big project. But why? Because if you start doing AI, maybe it's your first project, right? To do that right, it will take you 3 years, maybe 4 years. After 7 months, after 1 year, people start to say, hey, you spent 1 million on this, or 100,000, where is the results? So what you actually want to do is to see what projects you have, what the ROI on that project is, how fast you can develop it, and how fast you can prove it's worthwhile to invest in this, and show some real results, and then grow from there. And with the IT infrastructure, with AI, you have to really look into your IT infrastructure, because with AI, things will be different. If you are going to do real-time analytics, cloud might be not the best solution for you, because there's always some latency, and getting reactions late might cost some lives, or some system might break. If you look to Formula 1 example, where you lose or win the race in a millisecond, it's important to have direct results. And that doesn't mean that the cloud has no place, because all this racing data you can send to the cloud and do have bigger analytics, and that's fine because you don't need it immediately. But if you work with sensitive data, for example, client data, IP data, probably you want to safeguard that behind your own firewalls, so you're sure that no one else sees that data except you. Then you might choose to put that data in your private servers, and maybe you need the power. You are developing a computer vision model, and you need compute power. And the difference when you have a workstation, for example, is that you have that compute power always there. You're not dependent on your IT, because when you do it on your server, for example, you need to go to your IT, they need to do this for you, they need to do that for you. But the other problem with servers for such issues is that those servers are used for everything in the company. So will you have the compute power when you need it to train your model? You have to look into that, to your infrastructure. Is it really set up for AI? Sometimes it happens that the server, private server, doesn't have enough memory, so you're training, but then it stops, and then you have to restart. So it's really important, like, where are you, what are you going to do, what are you doing now and later, and what do you need for that, and what is the best mix for you, so that if you really look honestly to your infrastructure, it will be never only cloud, never only workstation, or never only private server. The future is hybrid. It will be a combination of the 3. And what is important is that successful business models don't last forever. Yes, some companies are already existing for decades or hundreds of years. HP is one of them, because they keep innovating as well. But with Gen AI, also business models are changing. As I said before, customers want new services, new products in new ways. And there are a lot of companies who are picking up on that. And now the barriers of starting a company is going lower and lower. So one thing you can do is look into your industries. Are there new competitors rising up? Is the barrier lowered? Is there any threat? And how they are doing it? Don't look only in your industry how people use AI, but also look to other industries, to get educated, like, what's possible in this area. So in this picture, you see a gentleman. He makes mittens, and he started his company with ChatGPT. So it makes the designs, and he has a business. Like, ChatGPT is the co-founder. And this is maybe a simple example, But this gentleman might grow, get new ideas, develop fast, and it might also happen on different areas which, impact your industries. And that's why look into those business models and see if they are future ready. I'm not going to go through all these questions. I put it here so you can make a picture, because these questions you can ask yourself to start to think about it, get some answers, discuss internally. Usually I have more questions, but it's one slide, so I don't want to overwhelm you. Everyone made a picture? Yes? So this part we're going to skip today, but if you're interested in this one, you have my name, reach out to me. We can also do that together with Nina. So to summarize it, embed AI in your operations. Just look where it makes sense. Don't embed AI because you need to embed AI. Because a lot of, also from higher up, right, they say to people like, we want AI, find a way to use AI. But without clear instructions, people are also like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? Just check it. And for companies, it's also important that they stimulate innovation, that they give people the tools, the possibilities to come to events like this, to talk to people like Nina, for example, to talk with other industry peers who are already utilizing AI, and that they have some budgets to use AI tools. Speaking about AI tools, one fair warning. I see a lot of AI tools rising up, which are, they have some really good capabilities, but a lot of people are not security experts. So when you use those AI tools to improve your business, so when you put in sensitive data, those data is saved temporarily, usually permanently, but they also use that data to improve their models. So you really have to be mindful which AI tool, Gen AI tool you're going to use, and how they handle your data. And if you don't have a clear answer on that, I will say be cautious with, giving them sensitive data. Even ChatGPT says, don't put sensitive data in our models. Just ask your questions, we will help you, but be aware. Yeah, actually, I did the third one already, so. I will take some questions afterwards when Nina is also done, but hereby I would like to give this to Nina. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Cihangir, for HP. So my name is Nina Krommedijk. I have a background in data science and artificial intelligence, and I work as a data scientist and business development manager at Datacation. So Datacation, we are an AI consultancy, so we are the AI experts, I would say, and part of what we're doing is computer vision. So this is one of our 3 domains. We also do natural language processing and optimization. But for computer vision, we need a lot of hardware, good computing power, and therefore we're very happy to collaborate with HP. So we use the hardware solutions of AP and then our technical skills to develop great AI solutions, but also that are scalable. So not only proof of concept, but we're thinking about how to adapt it later on. Why are we actually here? And I think this is a very important thing to notice. So there was a survey of Barclay first in 2022, where 43% of the CIOs were planning to move their data and workload from cloud to on-premise. This survey has been done this year in 2024, where this number has risen already to 83% of the CIOs that are planning to move their data from the cloud. Why? Well, this is, of course, the cost of data in the cloud. It's very incomprehensible. People don't have a grip on it. It's very hard to have a grip on it. A lot of companies struggle with this, but it's also privacy concerns. And I think the last fact here is stating this very good. So 82% of the breaches has involved data stored in the cloud. This was research done by IBM. Another example, so for this company, they are able to save over $7 million in the upcoming 5 years by just moving from the cloud to on-prem. Yearly, they have around 3.2 million cost, and they can reduce this to 800,000 just every year, which will result in these conclusions. And of course, this is not like the golden rule. So the question is now, do we all need to move from cloud to on-prem? No, that's not why we're here. We just want to create some awareness and make sure that you guys, that we create some critical thinking. Why do we need to move from the cloud? Do we actually need to move from the cloud? How is the on-prem working? So what we want to suggest here is hybrid computing. And hybrid computing is a combination between, sometimes you want to use a workstation, you want to have something physical, you have sensitive data that cannot leave the location at that point. It needs to be in this specific environment. We have a server and we have the cloud. So it's not that the cloud is not a way to go there. We use the cloud a lot, but you need to be really good thinking, okay, when am I using the cloud? So why can the cloud sometimes lead to problems? The first one is bandwidth. So when we have explosions of data, think about videos, maybe 3D scans, then your data will exceed the bandwidth that's there, and this will not be a very good solution. The last, or like the middle thing, is the latency. So when you need to make direct actions based on what you're seeing, what the data is telling you, then latency is not an issue if you have high latency over there. The third one, the data privacy, I think I mentioned this one already. When you have sensitive data, the cloud is not maybe the best way to store it there. Maybe if you anonymize it before, and then your data is secure to go to the cloud. But these are things always to think about. And the last one is cost control, as I mentioned before. So there's a lot of companies that are struggling to keep their costs down in the cloud. And I know this has been maybe a lot of information, a bit theoretical. So what we want to show is actually some computer vision use cases that we at Datacation performed, also with the hardware of HP. And we just want to raise a bit of awareness. Okay, what were the thoughts processes that we had together with our clients? How are they going to use this? How fast do they need to use this? Is it sensitive data? What is the best way to store it, but also still achieve great results? So the first one has actually been in the Dutch news 1.5 weeks ago. So KLM at this point, they have a lot of problems struggling with their food waste, what they have. And for example, we're tracking now 2 flights, one to Los Angeles and one to Taipei, and they just overstock the planes. It's crazy. If you see what food comes back, it's insane. And there's like 1 can of Coke that maybe goes around already 6 times the whole world before it actually gets drunken maybe by one of us. So they have no clue what the people are actually eating. And so what they asked us to do is, okay, because we also have a lot of overweight, how can we see what people are actually consuming in the airplane? So what we did is we put a camera where all the flights return, and then we can automatically recognize different cans, maybe different types of food. Is it a Coke? Is it a Coke Zero? The food, has it been eaten already, or is it completely full there? How many cookies actually return from the flight? And this gives really precise insights on what people on the different flights are consuming. So to give a quick photo of inspiring of what it might look like, we have a small video to show. So I hope, yeah, that's starting. So also these wine bottles, there are some full, there are some still empty. And we're counting how many of those are there. The same with a ginger ale can and apparently also a Heineken can. I can tell you they are very similar. They are very similar. And when it's hard for our eye to detect, it's hard for the computer vision model as well. But by training a lot and thinking about, okay, how can we still fine-tune models, we were still able to get accuracy over 90% here. What were the thoughts processes we had? So the infrastructure challenges is we need real-time processing demands at this point. There's a high computational load because the video is ongoing. We also, if you may see the small cards on the side, we also need to do OCR to see, hey, what flight is this food actually from? And then you can imagine we can have the data from KLM, but sometimes they have a partner from Los Angeles. They have different cards again. So we need also to read this data from those cards. It needs to be scalable. So now it's still in the proof of concept phase, as I mentioned. So we're doing it on 2 bands, but they're building a new fabric and we need to plan it over 10, maybe 20. And the last one is the storage and the bandwidth. It's a lot of data. We're thinking about, okay, are we actually keeping all the data? Do we keep all the videos? How do we test how good it actually is? Do we need to maybe make some small changes? Or do we just keep the numbers? Do we just keep the results? So we were thinking, okay, first thought cloud. Let's go to the cloud. Let's see how it's going. So we need to have a neural network running in the cloud. But as you might be guessing, this is very cost intensive. It's also when you have an unstable connection, which still happens quite a lot, especially in big fabrics with connections all over the place. You're also very dependent on bandwidth over here, and we have a problem with privacy of people in the hall. There might be some hands, might be some heads that are in there, and we don't want to have this issue. And the neural networks, as I mentioned, so this is built monthly and the GPU cost in the cloud is very expensive. So what did we do? We are using one of APE's hardware over here. So this is where we run our neural network. This is where we train. This is where we do the inference. So this is physically on the location of KLM. So this data is not leaving. Then we store this in a table in different data sizes. And this is then stored in the cloud. So both KLM, both KCS, so the catering service can look into it. Just as Datacation, where we do our analysis, how good is actually our results. So what we're doing is we have different use cases. So for one solution, we have a wired connection actually to the network of KCS. The other one is the local area network. And then we still use the workstations. And in this way, there's no recurring cost. Of course, there is in the beginning a cost where we need to buy the hardware, but this is nothing compared to the cost that it will cost us to use the GPUs on the cloud. And then the tables in the cloud, it's very easily accessible. People can check directly, hey, what is actually the result that I just gained? And it's only minimal data that is uploaded. So the bandwidth is also very minimal in this case. We have another one, we call this our chick project. So this is a company and they start with 90 eggs and they need to sell also 90 chicks to their clients. But as you can imagine, 90 eggs doesn't naturally always result in 90 chicks. And in that case, they need to count a lot. They need to count a lot, like, okay, how many chickens are exactly in my box? So we wanted to count how many chickens are there, just automatically. And our goal is to only have one miss out of 500. So we need to get an accuracy of 99.8%. We are working very hard on this one, but as you can imagine, having only one chick missing out of 500, it is hard, but we are getting there. And now counting manually takes 3 minutes per box. And if we do this with computer vision, we can increase the speed by 36%. So it only takes us 5 seconds instead of 3 minutes to count the chicks. Therefore, we can free up at least 2 workers in this case, which will of course indeed improve the efficiency then as well. In this case, there's no need for real-time processing. It's fine, like at the end of the day, we can see, okay, how many chicks were there? Do we need to add another chick? This maybe doesn't sound as friendly if I'm saying it out loud, but you get what I'm talking about. There's minimal latency as well, but there's a high accuracy, so we still need a lot of that compute power in there. At the end, we chose to work with both a server and a workstation, also keep all the information over there and do all the processing at this point. I think this is one of our most proud projects that Datacation is working on. We are doing this from over 3 years at this point, so we're working together with UMC Utrecht on detecting pancreas cancer in the post-operative phase. So when patients already had their surgery to get the pancreas removed or the cancer at the pancreas, we are checking, okay, did the cancer return or is it scar tissue that we're seeing? And at this point, oncologists can only make that decision 9 months after the surgery. And I think you can imagine you're always too late. So if it is actually recurrent cancer, there's no way to help it. So this is, of course, a very big awareness point. Okay, guys, we need to fix something here. So what we're actually doing is we're creating also a deep self-learning algorithm. And we can detect already after 3 months if we expect it to be recurrent cancer or that it is scar tissue. And I think this is already for us a very good project that we're very proud of and really enhances the importance of using computer visions. Because what just our naked eye can see, there's always a bit more to that. And especially with 3D scans, we can look into pixel values. We're not looking at either one scan. We can look at different angles. We can look at more layers at the same time. And something that we cannot comprehend with our head, such an algorithm can do. In this case, a very high computational load because it is like 3D. You can imagine if you have a lot of 3D scans, this cost, if you would do it such a thing in the cloud, the cost would be crazy, but also privacy concerns. So everything needs to stay there. Nothing in the cloud, it needs to be at UMC Utrecht in this case. And the bit of the hard truth is as well that most of the data that we have is from people who certainly didn't make it. So that's very sad. So every data point that we get is a bit of more awareness that's creating like, okay, guys, we need to step our game up. I think this is what I mentioned before. So one of our last one, this is corrosion detection and inspection in very big fabrics. So the problem is that manual inspection in this industry takes, as you can imagine, a very long time. It's slow, it's inefficient. We need to maybe make videos and later see, hey, what is actually there? Is there corrosion over here? Maybe I need to have another look. So you can imagine you need to go maybe twice, maybe even 3 times to see what am I actually seeing. So what our goal is, we want to detect this in real time. And this can be done by a drone flying. But at that point, we want to see, hey, is there something that takes up my interest? Do I need to check there? So in this case, we will save a lot of time and money, also because we are reducing the downtime. We can see it before actually something is already happening. We can also recognize that, okay, we are thinking that we will get corrosion over here. We are thinking that this part in the fabric that's not working anymore. So we can also do not only detecting, but we can go one step further into predicting this. This is trained on the workstation, and this data analysis, this is fine. We can do this in the cloud. It works very fast. So this is a combination that we chose for as well. I think we want to end a bit of the informational session with some key aspects of the deployment. Again, there is no universal way of choosing your deployment for any computer vision solution that you want to have. There is no free lunch in this case, but we have some key aspects that we find really important. So first one, privacy, security. I think we should most of the people are already aware of this, but please keep this in mind. Latency, do you need to make decisions on the spot? Can you do it maybe later on in the evening, maybe weeks later, whatever you like. Maintenance, and then variability in the skill and deployment. So it's not an either or, it's quite often it's a combination of best solutions. And as a consultancy as well, we want to think along with our clients to see, okay, what works for you? What is actually your big benefit that you can gain from this one? So I think quite good in time. So we want to do a bit of a interactive session to think about, hey, what can computer vision do? I know I showed some examples. Try not to stick to the examples that are already shown, but just think about, okay, in your wildest dreams, what could computer vision maybe help me with? So we want to inspire you to rethink existing processes by integrating this computer vision. And we will start with identifying opportunities. Then we will see, okay, what is actually the business value? Cihangir already mentioned it, using AI. Wow, cool, you can put it on a banner, go to a fair like this, say, I'm using AI, but what is actually your business value to this? And this is not always directly money. This can be freeing up people, this can be efficiency, whatever comes to your mind. So we will talk about this as well. And the last one is thinking about how do I actually implement such a thing. So we came up by the use of generative AI, of course, with a fictional company. It's called BrewGrind. And it's an industrial coffee processing machine is what they have. And just to give you a bit of an idea, so we have 200 staff members in total, 120 working in the production, so you still have like 80 people working in the office. So just to give you an idea, that's not only production workers that we have, it's a bigger company. And they have several departments, so sales department, management, production hall, maintenance, general office, and safety and compliance department. And they have different problems that they're facing. So they have a lot of manual paperwork. This is what we see with quite some clients of us as well. They have inconsistent product quality, inaccurate inventory counts, damaged shipments, slow customer service, inefficient machine inspections, and poor customer feedback analysis. So one question too far. We want to ask you guys to write down at least 3 ideas for applying computer vision for this company, for BrewGrind. So maybe if you can all take some time, think about it, maybe discuss it with everyone, like, hey, what can we actually do here with the use of computer vision? Let's give everyone maybe like 3 minutes, something like this, to discuss it, maybe write some stuff down, and then I will ask for some input from the audience. last comment, if people have any questions, I have a colleague in the back as well. So if you have any question, maybe what I just said about maybe the ideas that you have, just raise your hand and we will come by. So guys, I will give everyone like 1 more minute. I think there's still some discussion happening and then we will wrap up these examples. Ja, maar Cihangir wou ook wat eerder stoppen. Hij zei wel gewoon 15:15. Okay, everyone, I'm very curious. I still see some talking, so maybe very sorry to cut the talking off. Who wants to start? Who wants to maybe say, okay, I think we got some great ideas? Okay, here at the front, I think we have a mic, so let's wait for the mic.
So we have thought different solutions for these problems. So first of all, a quality checker to check either quality or damage inventory. Then the inventory counts, which was already mentioned previously. For the manual paperwork, we thought about optical character recognition with AI. And for the slow customer service, we thought about customer segmentation based on neural networks.
Okay, great. Great job, guys. Anyone else? Maybe the group in the back, I saw over there, you were discussing a lot. That someone has an idea over there as well? No, maybe a bit. Okay.
We just put some general ideas.
That's great.
There's quite a few. We talked about the quality of the packaging, counting the shipments, looking for issues with the machinery to support the human, reducing the manual workload for the employees, and then there's lots of subcategories under there that we talked about.
Great. And would you say that a lot with this computer vision that there's also a hardware side to it? Because you also said like packaging, maybe do a selection of the quality. Do we still need manual labor there, or in your imagination would you say we can automate everything maybe with robot arms, or how did you guys envision it?
I think we didn't get into that level of detail, but I would say it's to complement the person.
Great. Yeah. Perfect. I think great it is. And I love the last sentence that you mentioned, so to complement the person. And I think this is what we use a lot as well with our clients. It's sometimes people are afraid like, oh, AI will take over my job. Well, I think the inspection of coffee beans in this case, I don't think a lot of people are very happy to do so, but we can still help them and say, okay, maybe at dispatch, have a further look at dispatch, look into this, etc. So I love the sentence that you just put down there. So as I mentioned before, we want to also try to capture the business value. So is it operational efficiency that we're achieving here? Is it more material insight? Is it improved customer experience? Maybe a new revenue generation or some safety enhancement? Because it's quite funny with the safety, I didn't hear anything yet, but maybe we can still think about this. So our question is, for each of the ideas that you wrote down, write down what the added business value is in this case. We can also have, I think, 5 minutes for this one. Okay, so I would like to see what maybe the added business value is. So maybe we can all get central again. Is everyone ready? Can I maybe see some heads nodding? I think that would be great. I saw the group at the back. You're also having a bit of a discussion. Can maybe one of you tell me what the added business value could be? Great.
Well, one simple way of looking at it is you get consistency, you get transparency,
Right.
and you get real-time information that enables you to act quickly on a situation.
Perfect.
And on top of that, with using camera technology, you get quick insights into how maybe safety and health situations are being compromised or potentially being compromised, and you can act quickly on that.
Great. And how do you, for the for the security and for the safety that you mentioned, what does the use case would look like?
Well, one, combining camera technology that they're probably using within the facilities.
Yes.
And then computer vision with recognizing situations. And that should give insights to, situations that need to be dealt with. I know actually a startup that's doing exactly that.
Great.
So there are some pretty cool stuff that they're doing.
Yeah. I think it's a great example, and I know some governments in Holland do this as well with computer vision. They're looking what the situations are in cities. For example, in Eindhoven, how busy is it there? Can we maybe already predict that, okay, some stuff is happening, maybe people with bad intentions or a fight might be coming there. So just by using computer vision, they can already predict or maybe send over some extra police to that location just to be sure that we keep the safety there. So I thought that's a very good point to add. Anyone else, maybe with some added business value that they would love to share with us? No one? Here, maybe? Could try.
Thank you. We've think about the quality of the beans, and the idea is to videograph the beans and try to create a model that validates the quality of a bean. Therefore, you can add value. I think if you do it good enough and you have good tasting coffee, you have an improved customer experience.
Yeah.
Maybe it could save time, but that's only if the bad quality coffee beans are now manually removed from production. And maybe also a bit of safety enhancement on the side of health, if bad coffee beans are bad for you. Didn't completely think about how you would compute the model, so on that part, none of the...
That's fine. That's something that we can look into. But what I find very good is that you started also with the customer experience. Quite often when we think about checking quality, it means like, oh, we need less people there, so we can save some costs. But I love that you started with already one step further, how does this actually end up at our customers? So great point. And I think the last one, this captures a bit of what we talked about today, also the part of HP. So we establish some use cases. We also know what their expected value might be. But can we, for the use cases, consider the following topics? So what is the breadth of the implementation? What is the bandwidth? Will it contain a lot of data? How is the data available? What security and privacy concerns do we might need to take into consideration? You mentioned, okay, for the safety for people in the fabric, are we allowed to just visualize the people? Maybe we do it with heat cameras, then we don't see faces. We can use heat cameras there for that as well. And the last one is latency. Do we need to have at this moment results, or can we just store it and look back into it later? I will give you guys again maybe 3 more minutes to think about this one. Okay, so I would like to wrap up. This was also the last question. So maybe I want to just spot on some topics that we have. So the bandwidth. Does someone has maybe something to say about the bandwidth for some of their use cases? Yeah, please wait. I think we have the mic coming. Oh, sorry, the mic.
Thank you. For bandwidth, do we analyze continuously videos or occasional images? I think it should be identify anomalies. When there's an anomaly, then the video starts recording.
Yeah.
And where there's no anomaly, then we don't need to have the video.
And you mean, so if we find an anomaly, then, because we're recording the whole time, but that's the only part that we're saving. Is that what
that's part that we're saving.
Right, yeah.
That part that we're transferring data, live data, whatever. So then we bandwidth saved.
Great. So I think in this case, we need a workstation there just to run the inference of the model to see, hey, is there an anomaly?
Yes.
And then if there's an anomaly, we can see and then maybe indeed use the cloud to transfer data.
Yes, that's correct. But only when there's an anomaly.
Yeah, great one. Maybe someone for the security and privacy. Does someone has a valid point on the security privacy of one of the use cases? Yes, please.
So one, I would suggest keeping the videos that you keep locally, local storage. And secondly, as far as uploading onto the cloud, you could take maybe the data points, but without the images. So that from a privacy perspective.
Yeah, Great. And maybe for the, if you go from images to data points, do you have any vision already what that would look like?
Well, one, you have to define what are the things that they're looking for. Is it health, safety? Is it efficiency of operations? So it's then actually predefining what are the things that they're interested in.
Yeah.
And then it's time, the maybe, you know, the
Event that's happening.
the event and
Yeah,
those kind of
great.
things. So that could be the data points to just see statistically how are things developing, is it improving or not. So that could be that kind of data is what you could upload, but the video keep it then locally on the hard drive, and then maybe the videos maybe keep it only for a limited amount of time, maybe just for a week or something, and then it's automatically deleted if someone hasn't picked on something that they want to dive into.
Yeah. Also a great solution. Maybe temporary, indeed keep some data that you're thinking, okay, it might be still for some value later on, and then see that we put automatic delete on this one. So maybe just to quickly recap about what Cihangir and I talked about. So the key takeaways. First, maybe identify your opportunities. We see, especially on the World Summit AI everywhere, and I know a lot of companies want to integrate this, but first see where are your opportunities that you can actually use this. What is the business value that I will add to it? Is this in cost? Is it in efficiency, customer satisfaction? And really think about the hybrid infrastructure. It's not, okay, I need to go for cloud, I need to go for on-premise, but really be critical. Talk also with people, maybe for people from different companies. Hey, are you doing this? Talk with an expert in this topic. But I think just going for the third thing that you're seeing, there's always an upside, always a downside on this, but take more topics into consideration. And the last thing is, if you're ready to discuss on how AI can actually solve your business challenges, maybe improve some, I think whether it's a process optimization, customer experiencing, or unlocking actually new insights, together with HP and Datacation, we bring, I would say, the best of both worlds, but maybe I'm a bit biased in that one, but we have the great hardware from HP, the technical knowledge from Datacation. And get in touch, I would say, today. So Cihangir and I are still at the HP booth the whole day. These are our LinkedIn, so if you want to get in touch, you can always stop by, but please also just shoot us an invite on LinkedIn. And maybe, Cihangir, you have some last words?
No, not last words, but I promise, maybe we have 5 minutes, so if there are any questions you would like to ask now, we could, look into it. Anyone? No one? Awesome, then thank you so much for being here. Have a great day, and, if you need us, we are at the booth. Thank you.
Thank you.